Hello and welcome to another video following my journey into 3D printing with my brand new Artillery Sidewinder X1 3D printer. Okay, so in my first printing video I showed you the cube. So this is the test cube that Artillery put onto the memory stick, and I was very pleased with how it came out, even though you can see some slight granularity there. It is very, very smooth. A little bit rougher on top around the edges, but still I'm very impressed with that. I wasn't quite so impressed with my cone, and I still haven't worked out why it's not printing as I expected it to. However, what I thought I'd do is I bought two new reels of filament. I bought white and black, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two additional test prints. And the reason for that is so that I can assess the consistency of the printing quality when it comes to printing the exact same model with the exact same STL and G-code files on the exact same printer under the exact same circumstances. So this is basically a consistency test. That's what I thought I'd do next. Now here's my white filament. So this is 1.75mm filament, and what I've been doing is when I'm not printing, I've been taking my filament out, and one of the things I've done, because although you can buy airtight containers for filament, I've got these sandwich bags, and these sandwich bags fit perfectly. So that's now an airtight seal. So it's also got the silica gel bags in there as well to absorb any moisture that might be in there. So I think that's a good cost-effective method for keeping the filament in good condition. So I've opened the white one. I haven't opened the black one yet. That's still in its original packaging. I'll print that one subsequently. So what I need to do now is basically load the filament into the printer. So going through the process I went through last time. So this reel, this is where the filament had been through the hole, so it's a little bit kinked. So I'm going to cut that off just to make a nice clean edge, or clean end, I should say. I'm going to cut it at an angle in case that's easy to get through the extruder head. Just make sure that it doesn't kink. This card came with it, and it basically says put it through the hole in order to be able to find the end and stop it wrapping in on itself. So that's quite a handy thing. I'll keep hold of that. I'll use that. So I'm putting the spool in place, and if I just bring the camera up, you can see I've not needed to adjust the holder, the spool holder, because the reel is the same size. I've got the end, and I make sure it's all clear and free. And then we've got our extruder sensor here, or filament sensor I should say. So now what we do, I just need two hands for this, so 1 second. So now I've just put this on just to make sure I didn't get the cable kinked in any way. So there we go, just make sure that this is still on the reel, which it is. Okay, so now to feed it through the extruder, I need to basically turn it on and heat it up. So let's go back to the control panel. So go to Tools, go to Change, go to In, heating up the nozzle, please wait. So it needs to get up to an appropriate temperature so that it can actually start extruding or feeding the extruder. So it's 42, it's aiming for 200 degrees as we can see here, currently 62. If I just put that in there, then one of the things we need to do is we need to just, as we push it in, it can only go so far. You push this little lever back and then it actually bites. And once it bites, it's secure in place. So then what we can do is we can click Confirm. And I can feel that it's trying to pull this through, but it's not actually pulling it through, so I don't think it's bitten enough. This is something I'm still trying to get to grips with, getting it to actually bite enough in the extruder head. So I'll just do that again. So I push this back, push that in, so that does feel solid. It says load filament complete, click confirm. Okay, click confirm, but I'm going to do in again. Oh, and then confirm. And it's still not loading that, because although this wheel's turning, it's not actually feeding this. Hang on. No, this was so that's grey, so that must have been previously in the extruder. So I'm going to click confirm. It still hasn't loaded it, so I'm just going to take this out. Okay, so that's out, and I'm just going to push this back into there. I'm going to give it a little bit of pressure. Right, okay, so by lifting this back, I was able to push it in much further, and I didn't realise it had to go in quite that far. So now I click in, confirm, and now I can actually feel it moving, so it's definitely extruding properly there. That's good, we can see it coming out the bottom as well. So very good, that's worked successfully. Fantastic. Okay, just get rid of that. Click on confirm, so that's done, then go back, and then back again to the home screen. So what I'm going to do now, as I mentioned, is I'm going to try printing the cube again. So this is what it was in grey. I'm just going to go to set and then fan, and I'm going to put the fan on at 125. I think though that the print file actually has its own print. Sorry, I think the print file, the G-code file that's created from the STL and the slicer, I think it has its own fan settings. So that's what I've noticed previously, I think, with the print, is that if the print slicer settings requires a fan speed, it can actually set the fan speed accordingly in its settings. So as I say, I'm still getting to grips with this at the moment, but it's good fun and I am enjoying it. So we click on back and then back, click on tools, click on, so the fan's working, the print head's okay, so everything's ready. So basically what I'm going to do is click on print, and then we're going to go to the memory stick, so the main folder, and there we've got our cube. So click on cube, so this is exactly the same print file that I printed originally, as we can see here, so it's going to be really interesting to compare the two. So as soon as I click confirm, I'm going to switch to time-lapse mode, and then we can actually get a time-lapse of the print as it's being constructed. So I'll see you again very shortly. So here we can see our test cube in white filament has now finished. I've just pulled it from the bed. It was a little bit sticky, but it's kind of come away okay. And again, if we just try and remove, it's difficult to do one-handed, so let me put that there. So if we just remove the excess from the bottom, go around like that. And again, we have a very, very good 3D print. And if we compare it to the grey cube, I have to say it's very, very consistent. So it's very smooth, all around the edges and the bottom, nice and consistent. So even though you can see some bands there, it's very smooth, there's no rough edges. The top is a little bit rougher, just around the edges there, but it's something you can feel but not necessarily see that much. But yeah, that's incredibly consistent, and that's a really good, promising sign for consistent results. So we've got a white one and a grey one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to produce exactly the same cube in black. So what we need to do is if we just move the bed, so if we go into tools and then move, and then we can move, no, not that one, that's it, we can move the bed back. Basically just to get it out of the way. And then what we can do is we can go to change, and then what we want to do is we want to change out. So if we press out, heating up the nozzle, please wait. So it just needs to get up to temperature so it's hot enough so that it can actually extract the filament. Almost there. There we go. So click confirm for start unloading. Confirm is unloading, and we can see it. There you go. Simple as that. A little bit of excess there. Let's try and pull that out. There we go. And I think there's probably still some left in there from what I can see, but hopefully it won't prevent the other filament from going in. Okay, so that was the white cube. So in my next video, I'm going to produce a black cube, and then we can compare all three against each other. So thank you for watching.